Continuing with round 2 of redoing the videos I've already done because it didn't pull focus properly is Chronicles of Crime, the Millenium series, number 1400. I don't know why I was doing this on the side. This is not useful for anybody. This isn't useful for me to read. This isn't useful for you to read. That would have been more useful because it at least is, oriented that way, but this is useless to everybody. This is Chronicles of Crime 1400. This is going to be a full review because I have played through all of this. And as I mentioned yesterday when I filmed this the first time, I could have actually made progress by having the review structure with me, but I haven't done that. So I'm going to try to think of the things that I would have talked about had I been prepared, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Okie dokie. Chronicles of Crime 1400. This is the first of the Millennium trilogy, which includes 1400, 1900, and 2400. Millennium, 1,000 years, 1400 to 2400. There you go. So, in this is a continuation of the system that was introduced with the original Chronicles of Crime, all of which are published by Lucky Duck. So Chronicles of Crime, the original game, is a modern detective game that is based in, I think the UK, because they have what appears to be like Scotland Yard or British kind of Bobby. I think Bobby is the name for some of the British police officers. Bobbies? I think so. And Bobbies with their nightsticks, I think. Anyways, I was not compelled, not by the game, but by the theme or setting, because I've played Detective, the modern crime game, and I've played the Sherlock Holmes consulting detective where you're reading through the newspapers. I've played all of those, and they're kind of the classic expected settings for a detective experience, and this is the first of 3 that are all in very intentionally themed settings, and that feels more real to me. It feels more narrative, and I like that. Now, I played this game solo, which I would mostly not recommend, but I was kind of using this as my test case to see what I thought of it, to see how it worked, and to where I can introduce 1900 and 2400, both of which I have, to friends and family and stuff like that. So I definitely am intrigued by this series. Again, I wouldn't play it solo because it really is more designed as a cooperative experience. You can 100% play it solo. You can fully play it solo. You don't have to worry about anyone else. But then you're kind of just locked into your own trench of how you think whenever you're exploring or investigating something. And I don't always think that's beneficial. I think that sometimes if you have the right people playing with you, the cumulative groupthink can overcome certain mental hurdles that you get yourself into. Because I did well on the first case that was the easy one. There's the tutorial and there's 4 additional cases. And I did well on the one that was easy. Then I did pretty poor on the 2 that were medium. I did better on the hard one, the final one. I still didn't get a great score, but I got a much better score than I had gotten on the medium. And I think it's just because I was focusing on certain aspects of the case, and I didn't have anyone to break me out of that kind of funk. And but it's really interesting to me because this follows Abelard Lavelle, who's a knight in Paris, and 1900 follows somebody else, 2400 follows somebody else. But the reason why I think these 3 are more intriguing is because they're all based around one person and their, experience or visions that they see and the crimes that they end up starting to investigate. And then there's an additional expansion coming out called Chronicles of Time, which is going to use all 3 of these, and so you'll get more bang for your buck. Because when you kind of have an investigative game like these or like Time Stories, oh my gosh. I used to really, really have high hopes for that series. And apparently they're doing great because they have a ton of cases that are out now. I played that back when they had like maybe 4 to 5 additional cases beyond the base game. And I thought the base game had such a promising start. I thought it was a really promising start. Really liked that first case, and nothing ever really got to that high point of the first case for me. We played 3 additional ones beyond that, I think, and all of them felt really stale. That's a sidetrack, though. Just, what am I trying to say? Anyway, the point I'm getting to, because that's what that reminded me of, is that all of those games, once you get done with them, you know what the answers are to all of the cases. So you kind of get rid of the game at some point, or you wait an inordinately long amount of time until you've forgotten it, and then you can replay it. But for these, the same thing would normally happen. You would get rid of it probably, or you trade it away, or you sell it or something, once you finish it. But because the Chronicles of Time lets you dive into each of these boxes in a new way, you get more content out of what you've got. And I like that. I'm excited about that. So I think what's interesting here is this is a process. If you're unfamiliar with Chronicles of Crime or that universe and the style of games that a lot of Lucky Duck products operate under, they're app enabled, where you download an app that then once you download it works offline. You don't need the Wi-Fi or anything to make it work, but it uses a scanning QR code system where you are scanning cards to have your characters, like the narrative exists within the app. So instead of the narrative existing on newspapers or abstractly while you're looking for clues and stuff like that you then follow up later, the narrative experience happens in the app while you are choosing where to send your detective, what clues to investigate, what people to talk to, who to question about what. All of that is then reflected in the answers that they give, the revelations that they share. All of that happens on the app. And so this is really your base system that allows you to interact with that app. And once you have the Chronicles of Crime app, you can play the base game, you can play 1400, 1900, you can play all of them on that singular Chronicles of Crime app. But you need, obviously, these components to make that happen. And I think one of the things that I like about this is it's a very accessible way to play a board game because you don't really need to worry about rules. You kind of let the app handle the direction of everything until you're ready to solve the case. You choose where to go and you just scan it. And so that system does a couple different things. It deconstructs the board game experience from a physical thing that you interact with, and then it also elevates some of the narrative complexity and elegance by having all of that take place in this digital world. I think that's really interesting. It's almost like a point and click adventure game where you're exploring this digital world, but it happens with this physical manifestation of it in front of you with all of these people. And the cool thing is that all of the people are different characters in different cases. You'll use certain people through the deck multiple times, but they'll just be different individuals in different cases. So it's really smartly done, but I think that its strengths are also its weaknesses when you play solo, which is what I did, because I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't even talk to myself, which is something I usually do in games where I'm playing solo. I will exclaim things. I will become exasperated. I'll become excited. I'll have a range of emotions that I usually volubly share to myself and, to the ether while I'm playing. And in this, I really didn't. I kind of just quietly scanned through the game and tried to uncover the mystery. And that's not a problem. It's just not how it's not the type of solo game that I would seek out. This is the type of game that I would seek out with other people. So I don't think it is as evocative of an experience if you're playing by yourself. But I think that it would be a really good cooperative experience for you all too, because it's got like a virtual reality, like on your phone or tablet or whatever, you hold it and you look around and it shows you the crime scene and you can kind of like spot that out, and multiple people can do that, and that's kind of cool. And then after that, it's just you trying to untangle the web of mystery surrounding whatever case it is that you're working on. So I really like this. If I was to give this like a rating, if I'm going to do that, because technically this is a review, I guess, I'd probably say that this lands right now at a 7 out of 10 for me, and it's probably a 6 out of 10 for a solo game, which is not bad. It's just it's not the type of game I would choose to be my solo experience. It's probably like a 6 out of 10 for solo play, 7 out of 10 overall, and I think it would probably be a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 if I was getting to play with other people and having that experience and kind of getting to chat and explore this world together. And then also probably 7.5, 8 out of 10 as just in addition because of when you get that other expansion that allows you to incorporate or interact with this in a new way that you haven't previously, which I think is unique compared to other detective games I've seen. Also, the thing that I think is beneficial about this that I haven't actually talked about is gameplay length. I don't think this takes too terribly long compared to like Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective or the other detective modern crime board game. Both of those I feel like are a much lengthier experience, and this felt a little bit more snappy, and I kind of liked that. Well, I've done this twice now. Hopefully this one works. I'm going to try and check out Focus again whenever I do this. Alrighty. Making progress, timestamp. That's what I gotta keep in my head. I wonder how loud that was. That was really loud in my head. I wonder how loud that was for you. Alrighty. I hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, wait. Do I need to do a thumbnail for this one? I could. No. I just want to do the other art. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. I messed up, guys. I messed up today. I'll see you.